I jumped back into my Thai boxing classes last week and realized that type 1 diabetes management is more than just numbers. It's a lot more. It's a mental game. And something happened last week that I want to share that was kind of shocking to me after living with this for 44 years and raising two type 1 kids with this darn diabetes thing. So let's dive in. Like I said, started back into these classes. They're evening classes, and basically they're an hour long. They're pretty intense, and I know how to manage my diabetes around them, or so I thought, right? So I'm in these classes. I finish them up, come home, do my thing. I realize I spike usually during and slightly afterwards because it's a high intense activity, and that's what happens when I do high intense physical activity. So I know what to do. I took a bit of extra insulin to prevent the spike post exercise, and that works beautifully. What was shocking is I took my mealtime dose of insulin 2 nights in a row, and should have just stuck with that, but I didn't. And something weird happened. I went back to a fear that I would have lows in the middle of the night. These classes are in the evening, and I don't know why I went back to this fear-based thinking, but I did. That's the mental mind game of diabetes. We have experience with this, right? You understand with type 1 that if you exercise, you increase your chances of having lows either during or later on. And this is exactly what happened with me. I basically had it in my head that my sugar, even though it was fairly decent and normal before bed, I was going to drop. So I would look at my CGM. It would be hovering in the low 4 or 5 range. And I decided I better carb up. I don't want to go low. And I'm not back in the 90s where you're taking long-acting insulin to chase food and prevent dropping, like old school days. I have a pump. I have a Tandem T-Slim pump that shuts off to prevent me from going low. Like, really, honestly. And why I didn't trust it, I don't know. But I didn't. So I'm not beating myself up. I'm sharing this because I think it's good information, really. I think, type 1 to type 1, that these fears do creep in. These experiences we've had, dropping low in the middle of the night, for example, was horrible. And sometimes we just do what we used to do instead of thinking about what technology does for us now, right? My pump will shut off, my CGM will wake me up, and that's pretty brilliant. Instead, like I said, I reacted to my CGM being a bit low. I overate, and then I thought, oh geez, I better top up some insulin. So I started this yo-yo thing, which was not good. So 2 days in a row, time and range was shot. And I also want to share that, my videos, if you've watched any of them, if not, skip over this part. But honestly, I come across like I know everything I'm doing, but I really don't. I'm just like you. I struggle daily trying to figure this stuff out. And I want to do more raw videos, weekly videos that share these experiences and these learnings. I've got a ton of them. I had another one today. I'm not going to do it right now, but this one's important. So if you're changing any activities or you're jumping into a new form of activity like exercise in the evenings, keep this in mind. Trust the automation. The automation works. The new insulins are less likely to drop you low if you're taking the right amount, and always test. Anyways, if you want more of these, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.